Oh, it's been so long since I did one of these. Anyway, let's just get into a conversation. So let's
Okay.
everybody knows who I am on this channel, obviously. So who are you and what why have I come across you?
Okay. Well, I think I don't even remember how I came across you, to be honest. I
No, I don't
think you
either.
were doing an interview with Eli Martyr and a couple of other raw veganism individuals. And then I kind of found your channel and started following you on Instagram and whatnot. And I think somewhere along the line we discovered we both live in the same area and all of that, which,
Yeah.
with the veganism and kind of, I know you're not necessarily into raw veganism, but it's kind of along the same like health lines that you don't often find people doing the same thing in the same area,
No,
proximity
yeah,
sometimes.
especially Cleveland. And if you do, they're people that I just don't really get along with. I mean, for the most
Right.
part, it's
Yeah,
di
I know what you're saying there. Yeah.
different crowd. I don't really,
Same,
yeah.
same. Yeah. You really gotta kind of weed them out. But I mean a little about me. I born and raised in Ohio. Lived a pretty average lifestyle. I come from a family that, my parents were married. I had one sibling. I did the things you're supposed to do. I went to school, went to college, got a job, all that stuff. But I started to encounter some health problems in my 20s, in my early 20s, digestive issues. The doctors couldn't figure it out, anything like that. And, they couldn't figure it out based on
Imagine
what
that.
they knew. Um, and I just kind of looked at it for a while. And at some point, specifically 2020, I started down this health journey to really uncover a way to heal myself
Yeah.
without the use of the medical system. And that's how I kind of ran into your channel and found you. So,
Okay. Back to what you were saying.
okay. I think I just kind of like, I don't know, segued into it. Like that's how I found your channel and whatnot. Um, but upon like, doing my investigative research and healing modalities and all of that, I stumbled across the vegan lifestyle. And of course I had known about it forever, but I just didn't think anything of it. Honestly, before I really dug into diet and lifestyle and how it really affects your health, I just honestly thought, like people can choose whatever diet they want. It just depends on what resonates with them and all that. Like I didn't connect the dots there. And once I did, I was like, oh my God, like what have I been doing? Like it's
Hmm.
not good. And it kind of like it definitely like the dominoes fell. And I found raw veganism in particular, and I kind of dove in. I was vegan for about 6 months, and then I just went for it. And so I've been raw vegan for almost 4 years. It'll be 4 years in January. And yeah, it's been quite a journey and I've healed so many things. And of course, it's a lifelong journey and I have more to heal, but it's been one of the most transformative things that I ever could have done in my life. So,
I have to agree. I mean, raw vegan was definitely effortless for me to lose weight, but I just started to hate it. Like I absolutely started to hate it. So like what makes you like raw vegan?
honestly, the way I feel, there is nothing better than feeling free in your body after feeling trapped in your body for so long. I had a really bad digestive issues. I mean, it was so bad. It was infecting, my personal life and all of that. And I don't feel any of that anymore. And I will like while things, they smell good and like, cooked food is comforting and all of that, like I know how I'm gonna feel after, and it's just not worth it. But also, my taste buds totally changed. When I crave something now, I crave something sweet. Like I want Like right now, I'm like, oh, persimmons sound really good.
Mm,
Or, you know, usually for me, like my ultimate favorite is watermelon. I'm always doing
yeah.
something with watermelon. Of course, like right now, can't really get that. So now it's moving into other things. So admittedly, this time of the year is not my favorite to be raw vegan, but um, yeah, I mean, I just don't crave any of that stuff anymore. I guess that's kind of what it comes down to.
Are you always cold? Because that was the issue that I ran into. I was always cold. Like I was like not cold, but like actually shivering. Like my teeth were chattering. No, it could be 105 degrees outside and I'd still be freezing. And that was one of the issues that I ran into. Do you have that?
A little bit in the winter, just because I mean, I live in Cleveland, so
Yeah.
it's cold. And I've always been like that, so I didn't really notice a difference. I do notice like I can tolerate very hot temperatures easier now.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, I didn't notice anything personally more so than I did before. It's just kind of the same thing. But I could see how that would make it really uncomfortable
Yeah.
if you were, in 105-degree weather and you're still cold. Like that's not a good thing at all.
No, it's
That's
not.
not
I've
comfortable.
met like two other vegans that were raw vegans that had that, and it never went away. Like ever went away. I just couldn't take it anymore.
Wow. Was it always like that? Like the whole time that you
The
were
whole
raw?
time. Yeah, I did raw vegan the first time from like 2011 to 2014.
But that's
The
a
whole
while.
time. The whole time. And like not if I added a little bit of fat in, it would go away a little bit, but not much. So I finally just I couldn't take it anymore. And then honestly, that in like the because I was eating mostly bananas and dates and stuff like that.
Hmm.
The ripening schedule, just I like there was a couple of things I'm like, just I just can't take this anymore. It just if you're somebody who likes variety, which I'm not, um, then it's raw vegan's great for you. If you're somebody who just like I really don't feel like thinking about it, like just eat the same thing kind of every day,
Yeah.
um, it kind of I don't know.
So were you low fat raw
Oh
vegan
yeah,
then? It
yeah.
sounds like.
Because
Okay.
I was like
Okay.
422 pounds or something like that when I first got into it.
So
Um,
you kind of needed that to drop the
yeah,
weight.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, 'cause I do add fat in. Um, Not a ton though. Like I thrive more so on low fat. I just feel lighter. I feel less, I don't want to say the word blocked because you never feel blocked on a vegan diet,
Hmm.
but it just kind of weighs you down just a little bit more once you're used to that whole low fat lifestyle. But
Yeah.
yeah. And to your point too, the variety is really good. But, to be honest, I'm kind of like you with not wanting a ton of complexity and having to think about it.
Mm-mm.
I never like to cook. I come from an Italian family and I don't like to cook. I do not. So this lifestyle was kind of it was perfect for me because I didn't have to cook. And it's full. You can make it as complicated and as simple as you really want it to be. That's kind of the beauty of it.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I used to show up to parties with like just a watermelon, and they're like, "That's all you're
Oh
gonna
yeah.
eat?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's all I'm gonna eat."
Oh
You
yeah.
know?
My mom just asked what I wanted for Thanksgiving. I'm thankful, my none of my family does this, but they are very supportive and they'll ask me like what I want to eat for holidays and stuff like that. And I'm like, honestly, just cut up a fruit. I don't need anything complicated. And they're like, are
Yeah,
you sure? I'm like,
yeah.
yeah, no, you know. So it's funny. Yeah.
Would you
It's like
ever?
people don't get it. They're like, wait, that's like a side dish. I'm like,
Yeah,
no.
exactly. Yeah. I mean, most vegans kind of just eat the side dishes no matter what it is. I mean, because I'm in New York now and I'm not going to go back for Thanksgiving. My sister jokingly said, thank God we don't have to feed a vegan this Thanksgiving. And it's like,
Oh my God.
I it's just, you could kind of feel it. And I did notice that because I was with the ex at the time, we would start getting invited to less and less things. Have you ever found that to be an issue?
Not with my family. There were, some friends that kind of fell away. Not so much, I think, for the raw vegan part. There's other things like beliefs and whatnot that
Oh, yeah,
fall
yeah.
apart. But um, I do notice that, like, obviously going to restaurants and going out drinking and whatnot, because I don't drink at all, no alcohol, anything like that. It is harder in social situations with friends when your friends are still doing that. Like,
Yeah.
it's harder to find things to do with, find common ground. Um, so I'm sure there are some cases where, you know, that kind of fell by the wayside. But I do have like good friends that again don't do this at all. They don't live my lifestyle. They don't even share some of my core beliefs. But we all, kind of find common ground and we can appreciate each other for who we are. So I am very grateful for that. But I know that's not always the case because it is very people are very opinionated and have
Hmm.
strong feelings about it. And I found, a lot when you kind of threaten I don't want to even say the word threaten, but when you kind of bring to light things that other people are doing that maybe they feel like they know isn't optimal, and like when someone else is trying to improve their life and go like this extremist lifestyle, they kind of push away and they don't necessarily know how to respond. So I don't know if you found that too. I'm sure you have.
I do, and they like to defend their medications too. Like they're on like 22 different medications or drugs or whatever, and they're like they think that's normal. Like I'm in my 40s, and they're like, "Well, by your 40s, you should be on so many drugs or whatever." I'm like, I that's not really. I mean, that wasn't a
No.
thing when I was growing up, you know what I mean? But people like really like if they didn't have their diseases to talk about, I don't know if they'd have anything to talk about. It just
Yeah,
it's
that's a
kind of
good
like a
point.
commonality.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people identify with it now. It's like people bond over their illnesses.
They do. Yeah,
It's like really weird. Like there's I just saw something today, a reel about, oh, now that you're 40, you're a millennial, you're not young anymore, you're 40, you're waking up in the morning, your back aches, you got this, you need heating pads, and I'm sitting here like, I don't have any of that.
no.
If I had kept going down the path I was, then oh yeah, 1,000%. But I'm like, can't relate. But yeah, it's like a bonding thing. Like people are like, oh yeah, we're old now. Like this is, common. This is what's supposed to happen. It's like, no, it's not actually.
It's not. Yeah,
And it's
there's
normalized.
like this is like a modern thing that just started like I don't know 40, 50 years ago or something like that. It's ridiculous. I do have to ask the question that you probably get asked. I actually haven't gotten asked this question much, but like the protein thing. What do you get asked about that a lot?
Oh my God, all of the time.
Yeah.
All the time. And I feel like you don't even have to be raw vegan to get that
Oh, you
question.
don't.
Like as
Yeah.
soon as you go vegan, you're like, oh my God, wait, where do you get your protein? And like no one cares where you get your protein before that. And you go vegan and everyone's like, oh my God, where'd you get your protein? Like everyone's so worried about you. Um, to that I have to say there's no such thing as a protein deficiency.
Mm-mm.
And your protein that most people are getting, which is from animals, they get their protein from plants.
Yeah.
So you're actually getting it indirectly. So why not get it straight from the source in a form that your body can more easily assimilate anyway? So like you're eating animals, and there's a whole other thing with like why you shouldn't do that, but um your body has to work so hard to break down, the what is it, the complete protein structure, to break it down to simple amino acids. It's what your body really needs. It's not really protein, right? It's amino acids, but
Mm-hmm.
it's been normalized as protein. And it's funny, I don't know if you noticed this, but after I went vegan, I noticed like everywhere, just like add protein to this, add protein to the salad, add protein, like protein, protein,
Oh,
protein,
it's
like it's
crazy.
everywhere in your face. And I'm like, wow, I never realized that before, but there's such an emphasis on it.
It's crazy. Back when I wanted a lot of protein, you couldn't find it. at all. Like
Okay.
you would go to the restaurant, it was mostly carbs, and then now that I want it to be mostly carbs, it's mostly protein.
Right.
It's just the marketing. But I don't know why this one has really been sold pretty hard, the whole protein thing, and it's been what 20, 25 years of this now, so it's a lot of ingraining in people's
Oh yeah.
minds about, where do you get your protein? Where do you get your you're going to fade away, you're going to die or whatever. I mean, most of the raw vegans that have passed are the ones that absolutely refuse to drink water. The
Right.
ones that I've seen. I mean,
Yeah, and I actually fell into that thinking when I first got into veganism because I was like, oh, I don't need water. I'm eating all my water. I'm good.
yeah,
And then I started to realize I'm like, oh no, I need water on top of my food. Like we are not coming from an optimal state of being where maybe that would be the case, where you could just eat your water.
yeah.
We're already coming from a severely dehydrated state, generations upon generation. Like we need water for sure. So
Which is kind of a segue, unintentional segue. And so one of the reasons I want to have you on here is because you started
well
dealing.
done.
Yeah, it wasn't intentional, but you deal with water filters now, right? Or what exactly is the whole thing?
Yeah, so I think that is like a common misconception that is a water filter. It's actually just a water ionizer. And I don't want to say it's just a water ionizer, but it does filter out um some chlorine or the chlorine and some like chemicals that are in the water. But you do want like a additional pre-filter for the machine. But there are some, I'm not going to say the name of the company due to, legal reasons.
Mhm.
But it is the only medical grade water on the planet. And it is patented technology and it is truly like I heard about it 4 years ago, actually. And I kind of was like, like I didn't know there was like a business attached to it. And I wasn't really in a place to invest in a machine. I was kind of just focusing on the food and whatnot. But yeah, I actually wasn't even looking for the water, to be honest. My journey of uncovering truth and, the optimal way of living and all of that, I realized that I just wanted to get out of the corporate structure of working.
Mhm.
Um, and I was trying to find a way to do that. There were some events that kind of led up to that breaking point where I was like, okay, it's time to do this. Um, and I had a friend who was posting on Facebook about this company with this water, this ionized water and whatnot. And she was, making enough money, more than enough money to leave the corporate world and never have to go back again. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that's very interesting. I'm gonna check this out. And I realized that it was for the water ionizer, and I was like, oh my gosh, it was like one of those like full circle moments where I was like, oh, I wanted to get one of these anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's kind of how I got into it. I didn't really know I was getting into the water business. It was kind of like an unintended, um, I don't want to say side effect, but side effect of wanting to get out of the corporate system. So.
So how exactly does that work? Do people come to you for it, or like, how exactly does the whole thing work?
So the team that I'm on, we use organic marketing. So this is not an MLM or anything like that. It's like a brokerage. We operate kind of like a brokerage. Real estate agents are kind of under this umbrella as well. So what we do is we really promote the business aspect of it. And I promote the water too, because of course I'm more health minded. But we make it so that people resonate with what we're, talking about. Like people are struggling and they need ways to make enough money to support their families and not be working 3 or 4 jobs. Like the economy in the US right now is terrible. Inflation is awful. And so people just come to us. We're not, spammy pammies and DMs and trying to message people and
Hmm.
get them to do this. So, people come to us really wanting help and wanting a solution. And we've got the tools to do that. And it is completely legitimate. I know a lot of people might be like, oh, that's a scam. It's like an MLM. It's like it's truly not. I would not be a part of anything like that.
Hmm.
I just can't from like a integrity standpoint. Um, I just can't fake it like that. I'm a very like real person and you'd know it if I was like faking my way through something. Um, so yeah, that's kind of just all organic. I know a lot of people do paid ads. We don't do that. And everything, all of our training and mentorship and coaching and all of that is included. So you're not paying anything extra for that, which is huge because a lot of people will pay like tens of thousands of dollars to get training to do this, especially, coming into this business with no prior experience. We have people that have never even been at social media before. And so we teach them all of that too. So
Hmm.
that's pretty cool. I like it a lot. It's
Is
an
that
amazing
something?
community.
Is that something that you could link? Like I could put a link for in the description section somehow, or no?
Well, I don't have a link.
No.
No, I mean, you can find the company. I mean, they have a website, so you can do that, if you want to, but it's not like there's no link to me, I
Okay.
guess, through the company. So it would be like more organic, like they would need to find me on social, reach out to me, and then we'd go from there.
Okay.
So
So I could put a link to your social media, I guess.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, for sure.
I'll do. All right. So out of the water thing, like back to veganism, would there be any reason that you would come out of being raw vegan?
Um, right now I would say no, but I'm always learning and evolving, and I'm not saying that I have everything figured out. So for whatever reason, if I had like some major health problem that I believe came from raw veganism, which I really don't foresee that happening at all, maybe I would. Um, but as far as things stand right now, like I'm in this for life, and I just can't really see myself living a different way.
What are your top five favorite fruits? I'm assuming you're mostly fruit based, right? Are you,
Yeah.
yeah. So what are your five favorite fruits?
Uh, that's hard. Well, watermelon's number one. I
Yeah.
know you're shocked. Um, I talked about watermelon all the time. Watermelon, probably like honeydew melons. I really like the melons a lot. Trying to think. I don't know. Favorites. Mango. I love mango a lot. That is really good. If you can find good ones.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, that's almost a chore.
yeah, if they get picked so early. I really love avocado, but it is really high fat and it doesn't always like the best.
Yeah.
As I was kind of saying earlier. So kind of maybe like once a week I'll have an avocado, but I do really love avocado. And then I don't know, there's like nothing that's like coming to mind that like I would gravitate towards immediately if I had the option. Those should probably be the ones that stick out.
So you're not a huge like date fan. Like most of the raw vegans are like these huge date advocates. I'm actually not the biggest date person.
No, I mean I like them. I'll use them in dressing sometimes. And then I'll like rehydrate them and put them in smoothies. But I'm not the biggest dried or dehydrated fruit person. I find that it kind of, I mean, it doesn't do anything much for me because it doesn't really have much water in it. So I
Hmm.
find myself having to drink more water after I eat that. But so I'm kind of with you on that. What's your reason for not really liking dates?
They're the only fruit that irritates my teeth.
Okay. I can see
I don't know
that.
what it is that I mean, they're the only ones, and I actually get either from I forget the one. There's two in California, the Date People, and the other one. I actually did a spoof on my Instagram about that company. I forget what the name of the company. It's like Golden Date, whatever. They're actually wet dates. They're not dehydrated at all. Even that they kind of irritate my teeth, and like nothing irritates my teeth other than
Oh
dates.
wow.
Like I never, my teeth never get irritated by anything other than any date that I've ever eaten, and it could be like the first one too.
Oh wow. That is really weird. Like right after?
Yeah, it's like while I'm eating it, my teeth are like, no,
Oh wow.
something else, please. Like, yeah,
Just like immediate detox there for your teeth.
maybe it is. I don't know, but it's like immediate. It's like, nah, we'll pass. But
Yeah, I've heard too, like those are easy to kind of go overboard on too.
yeah,
Um, and you don't want to do that with, something that's so dense. Typically, most of our vegans I've, come across are, you know, they're trying not to do that. Like,
yeah.
anything that you feel kind of addicted to, like it's not a good thing, right? Because they're trying to break these addictions to food and whatnot.
Hmm. I'm kind of the opposite. I struggle to get myself to eat. It's what, 3:30 and I've probably had maybe 400 or 500 calories at most today. So I'm
So
kind of
are you like you sustain yourself on what you're
cortisol. Corti-
yeah,
this is the main reason that I have struggled so hard to lose. Like when I was raw vegan, I ate a ton, like a lot, like
yeah.
a lot.
You kind of have to.
You have to.
Yeah.
But ever since, like I just like I struggle to get myself to eat, and then I'm like, wait a minute, it's like, however late, I gotta eat something. But yeah, so I don't know.
Why do you think that is?
I'm like it runs in my family. Everybody in my immediate family does the exact same thing. And I'm really trying to break that cycle.
Yeah.
Like my dad used to get up at like 4 o'clock in the morning. He wouldn't eat. He might pack a lunch, and then he wouldn't be back till like 8 o'clock at night, and he wouldn't eat the entire day.
Oh wow.
And then he would just shovel it in, go to bed, and start the day over again. He was never overweight. Oh, he's still alive. He's still really not like terribly overweight, maybe like, I don't
Yeah.
know, 20 pounds. My mom does the same thing. You can't get her to eat. My sister will go like the entire day, and then she'll go to like Dairy Queen and get like three blizzards and then just punch them all in. But she's a rail. I mean, she's 5'2" and maybe like 85 pounds.
Oh wow.
I'm the only real big one in the family, but I think it's because I lifted for so many years.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
There's like nobody in your family line.
That's big.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Oh,
mean,
I was gonna
I'm
say, I was
Irish.
like,
Yeah, I mean,
wow.
yeah, I'm Irish. I mean, so you're either like a beanpole or huge. Like I feel like when you're
There's no in
Irish,
between.
there's like no in between at all. Like I've got some cousins that are like the size of my phone, and then I got others like that are just like my 400-pound life. It's just
Yeah.
it doesn't make any sense.
Well, I think, modern lifestyle kind of plays into that too. It's not necessarily genetics anymore, although like that is the starting point, right? But your choices and what you determine, like what you have done in your life, is a
Yeah.
bigger determinant if those, I don't know, genetic weaknesses that come into fruition later on.
Hmm.
But no, that's so interesting. It sounds like they're doing OMAD, but you think with
Unintentional
all the
OMAD is
fasting,
Yeah, unintentional OMAD. Yeah, but I just don't have
yeah,
a big enough stomach to actually live that life. Like when I interviewed Peter Rogers, MD, he intentionally does OMAD, and he told me what he eats. Like it's a lot. I can't
yeah,
get that down.
no. I watch people eating like a whole watermelon for breakfast. And I'm like, I can't do that. Like my stomach is not that big. I need to eat like multiple meals throughout the day. I'm more of a snacker.
Yeah,
Well, a snacker, I guess is what you would call it, like half of a watermelon. It's not really a snack to most people, but I can't get that much food in my stomach. It's
yeah,
like uncomfortable.
yeah. Speaking of watermelon, Would you rather have seeds in the water? This one is irritating me. I really wish they would bring back seeded watermelon. Like I
Yeah.
cannot stand seedless watermelon. I can't stand it at all.
I don't really have a preference personally. If I had to choose, I would prefer to have seeded because it's the most natural.
Yeah.
Like that's how they were intended to be. But I don't have a problem with seeded. If I can get a watermelon, I'll take one over the other. But
Yeah.
yeah,
100%. And they're sweeter too. They taste way better.
yeah, yeah. I actually found some like I know your viewers like won't know because it's like a Cleveland based or Pittsburgh Cleveland based, but Market District had like awesome seeded watermelons, and I never go there for anything because I try to go to like the more local places around here. But I was like, dang, they got like some good seeded watermelon this year. So I was going there like every couple of days to pick more up.
So how did you like do cold turkey into the raw vegan? Did you just straight up or did you work your way into it?
So I think I didn't go cold turkey necessarily. I wasn't eating like a full like sad diet before. I was never someone that ate fast food or fried food or, I was never one of those. Well, I always thought I was healthy. And I was, I guess, healthier comparatively to like a lot of people, but I ate a lot of like processed healthy foods,
Hmm.
like healthy carbs and stuff. But with having gone through all of those health issues in my 20s and like, for more than a decade until I found this lifestyle, um, I had done a few things to try and like figure out what was bothering me. So the elimination diet was one of those. I would like eliminate things out of my diet and like see if that works. But one year I decided to give up dairy and see how that worked. And a bunch of symptoms went away.
Hmm.
So I never went back to dairy. So I hadn't been eating dairy for years at that point. And I didn't really eat that much meat. I was never like into all of that anyway. It was more like oh, I eat it because I have to because I'm supposed to.
Yeah.
Um, so when I got into the veganism, I was kind of already like segued into that anyway. It was like only a couple things I needed to stop eating. And then like even then it was like a couple of processed vegan things. Most of it was, I already like on board with like fruit and vegetables or what we're supposed to be eating. So I was eating a lot more of those. And so by the time I actually got into raw veganism, I had kind of like transitioned my way in there, even though the transition wasn't very long. It's like only 6 months.
Mm.
Um, but after that, yeah, it's like there was only a few times where I ended up eating cooked vegan food. One of those was um on my honeymoon. I picked a terrible time to go raw vegan. I was getting married in April and I just decided I just like went for it that January. And I was like, well, we're just gonna see how this works out. Um, so I didn't really think about like the whole honeymoon thing. Like we went to a resort and um I thought like they'd have like plentiful like fruit. We were in the Caribbean and all that, and that was not the case. So I had to make a couple compromises, but it was so early on that I didn't really feel the effect of it. Now, if I would eat something like that, I definitely feel it.
I'd imagine.
Yeah. I jokingly tell my husband, I'm like, if you try and feed me that, like I'm gonna need to be like in the ER, and I don't want to be anywhere near the ER, so don't even like come near me. Don't joke about that.
Yeah.
But
So would you suggest people like for me, I actually went cold turkey. That's my suggestion. But what's your suggestion if somebody wanted to try raw vegan?
I think it kind of depends on the person. If you're someone who knows that they're not gonna be able to just kind of give up something and transition, then I would suggest you go cold turkey. It's totally doable. You can definitely do it. But if you are someone that can like have willpower and like go and stick with it and just transition into it, then I think transitioning is fine for you. It just really depends. Like there's a lot of debate out there whether or not, it's best to just jump in or transition, or you can't jump in with the raw food. You need to do a juice fast, a juice feast, before you go raw, all of that. So I think it's just, comes down to the person and what they feel they'll be able to do, really. What's your take on that?
I think so I'm coming at it for people who are overweight. I think most people who are overweight are not good at moderation. So
Hmm.
I think you either got to do it or you don't.
Yeah,
Because, I forget who said it, but like having a cigarette every Saturday means you're still a smoker. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
so in my mind, like my dad, I use him as an example. He used to smoke 5 or 6, like a ridiculous amount of packs a day, and one day he just stopped and never went back.
yeah,
And my mom did the exact same thing. My mom quit after my dad. She threw was like 3 or 4 packs. I mean, these people
yeah.
smoke like crazy, and she just stopped. And
What do you know like their motivation for doing so? Like something like in my mind, something impactful happened to them that made them just want to quit.
I think he just didn't want to do it anymore.
Oh, wow, that's a lot of like willpower,
That's just
motivation
how
right
my
there.
family is. Like when we
Yeah,
just do something, we just do it,
yeah.
you know.
I don't feel like that's super common in the world though.
It probably isn't. No, it probably isn't. But that's what I'm used to. And honestly, like I do like most of my people that watch this are overweight or were overweight.
Hmm.
And I just don't think you could do moderation because clearly you can't do moderation. Otherwise, you wouldn't
Yeah.
be as overweight as you are. Like I don't think you've never had that, right?
Have what?
Been
That
overweight.
overweight?
Yeah.
No, I have not.
So it's just unless you have been, it's like it's hard to like really wrap your head around it. But I feel like, people who have lived that would
Hmm.
understand it more than people who don't, maybe. I don't know. But I really
Yeah, no,
think
I mean, you have a point though. I mean, moderation is the lie, right?
it
Like
is.
everything in moderation. But yeah, to your point, like a little bit of poison is still a little bit of poison. Like, why would you be doing it?
Yeah. So
Yeah, I
that's
would say though, if you were looking to become a vegan immediately, like even if you don't jump straight in, like you gotta cut out all the processed food and you gotta cut out the animal products. Like
mm,
that, you need to do that. If you're still eating cooked vegan, like cooked whole foods vegan, that would be the optimal transition. You cannot be eating like steak and eggs for breakfast and then decide like for the rest of the day that you're eating fruit and vegetables.
yeah.
You will never get off that train. But yeah, to your point, like that would not work at all. Like you would have to draw a line in the sand
Yeah. I mean,
somewhere.
there's always the guy that got me into it is Arnold Kaufman at Arnold Way in Lansdale, Pennsylvania. He told me that if you do 10 to 15, if you start your day with 10 to 15 bananas, that your body will do everything else it needs to do. And like eventually you'll get to where you need to be. So that was what he told everybody. And he's got a walls of pictures of people, like just Polaroid pictures of people that he's taken that he's helped, like with every he's helped people. I mean, not he, but like Raw Vegan helped two of his patients start walking again after having MS, and I mean, he's just
Oh
got
wow.
thousands and thousands of people, and that's what he tells everybody: 10 to 15 bananas. Start your day off with that, and eventually your body kind of just won't want the other stuff.
Hmm.
So, I mean, you can take that approach as well.
What is his protocol for the rest of the day then? Is it just like that in the morning and then whatever you
Yeah,
want for the rest of the day, or how does
his
that work?
thing is if it's not yummy to the tummy, don't eat it. So he doesn't eat greens. He doesn't, like, or like kale or anything like that. You're never going to find him
Yeah.
eating kale or anything like that, which I don't think we should be eating. I don't like the inhibitors and a lot of like spinach and kale. I mean,
Hmm.
these things are trying to defend themselves from being eaten so they can grow a sprout to dump seeds. Like it's clearly not meant to be eaten
Right.
in my mind. So he just fruit. And then he does have like salad greens, which I
Hmm.
seem to tolerate well. too, but I can't have some of the other greens. And then
Yeah,
for
I'm not a kale person. To me, if I'm not like wanting to eat it by itself,
yeah,
I'm not I don't want to eat it. Like I
no,
I don't meant to eat it.
no. Like salad
So
greens, I can just eat salad greens without anything on them, but
yeah,
I cannot do that with kale. I can't do it with spinach. I
it's
can't,
so
there's,
bitter.
yeah, forget it.
Yeah.
Collard
No, I'm
green.
with you on that for sure.
Yeah,
No, I mean, I could see that like with the banana protocol because the people that are transitioning into it, banana, like they want to feel satiated, and bananas are pretty dense
yeah,
fruit. So it fills you up and keeps you full. So people stick with it. So, I mean, honestly, any fruit that you eat is going to get you to a better place if
true,
you stick with it.
true. Although apples, I just said this to somebody today, I'm pointing to apples that I got over here. I don't know why every time I eat apples, I keep getting hungrier and hungrier, hungrier and hungrier. And I'm like, what is
Really?
on these things? Yes, I could eat, I don't even know how many pounds of apples and never get full.
Now, here's my question. Do you eat the skin on the apples
Of course.
too? Okay. See, I stopped doing that because whatever putting on the organic apples started messing with my stomach.
Really?
Oh yeah, they're putting some pesticide on there that will not come off. Um, so I just started peeling them and I've been tolerating them much better. So I don't know,
It doesn't hurt my
maybe
gut. I just
something.
keep getting hungrier. I'm like,
No.
what is on this damn thing? Like maybe they are spraying something on there. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But that would be kind of like again what they're trying to do out there in the food industry, right? Like they don't necessarily want you to eat more fruit or
No, they
more
don't.
apples.
Yeah. Yeah. No, they don't.
So that would go against.
Yeah. The person I messaged about this today too was a raw vegan, but she couldn't do it anymore. But like I'm like, this is driving me crazy. Like I just keep it's like I don't know, but I don't have that happen. Like but bananas, I don't have that. Mango, I don't have that
Yeah,
happen. Watermelon, I don't have that happen. But apples.
that is really interesting. I never noticed that. I don't feel like, I don't know, the only food that I keep craving any capacity, like more after I'm full, is avocado.
Oh, yes. I agree.
And that's why I'm like, I know, like, but like
Yeah.
mentally, I'm like, I know if I go over like a certain amount, like it's not going to be good. So I just don't do that. I just
Yeah.
know like it's not worth it. But yeah, that I could eat a ton of avocados.
Yeah. I
But
can eat like
everything else, I
yeah.
stop. I have a limit.
Yeah. Yeah, because actually, I was losing weight so fast when I first went on raw vegan that Arnold, the one I just mentioned, told me to add like avocado into my diet because he's like, you're losing weight too fast. There was
Yeah.
days where I was losing 2 pounds.
Oh wow. What's the like safe? Well, I guess that's not really like a
I
safe,
don't know what the safe
but like
is. I know Doug Lyles talked about this, like 1.5 or 2 pounds a week is ideal. Not a day. Have you heard of Dan the Man, Life
oh
Regenerative?
yeah, I
Yeah.
follow him. Yeah.
Um, I think I asked him about this when I interviewed him, but he had this program called Lose a Pound a Day, and I kind of
Hmm.
was following that, kind of. But I was losing more than a pound a day. I'm like, this is ridiculous. This is not sustainable. And so I did start at it. But this is back when avocados are like 10 cents a piece, if that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, a little bit different now.
Yeah, a
They're
little
like
bit different now. They're literally like $3 a piece now. And
yeah.
so, but
Yeah,
yeah,
that they're like crazy. My stepdaughter really likes them, and I'm happy that, she wants to eat fruit because not a ton of that being done, but I'm like, oh my God, can you pick a cheaper fruit? It's
yeah,
so expensive.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're ridiculous. I mean, if you buy them in the little net thing, the little pack, like
Yeah,
4 or 5, they're not too bad. But if you buy them individually, they're like two, three
yeah.
dollars a piece.
Well, if you like, I go to a wholesaler to get a lot of my fruit now because the prices are so much better, and like it saves you a trip because
Yeah,
you're getting like so much in one. So I highly recommend any raw vegan out there. If you have a wholesaler by you, even vegan, like utilize that
yeah,
because
yeah,
it's a time saver, it's a money saver, and like you don't have to think about going to the grocery store 5 times a week. But Um, oh my God, I forgot what I was, oh yeah, the avocado. So you can buy like the avocados in that kind of scenario, but they go ripe all at the same time. And
All at
then
the
you
same time.
like, what do you do with that? So the
Yeah.
ripening thing. So
Yeah, and it's not like you can freeze avocado. Like if you've got too
you
many bananas,
can,
it just gets watery. It gets disgusting.
yeah, you have to eat it like in a smoothie though. Like
Uh,
you can't freeze and unfreeze avocado and like
That
put it
made me
in a
want to
salad.
vomit.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Ugh, no,
Well, like people that do like green smoothies, like I don't know if you ever do that, but people would
not
put
really.
avocado in green smoothies.
I was for a while until I just couldn't digest them. Like greens and I
Smoothies
just
in
don't get
general.
along all that well. Yeah. If
No,
I don't if I don't have greens with fat, then forget it. I just don't digest it.
yeah. No, that makes sense though. Well, what are you doing now? I know you've kind of like gone through several like
Ye-
phases of
Yeah,
diet and lifestyle.
I don't know. I got like 80 pounds of potatoes sitting over here. I got a little bit of rice. I did buy some apples and dates, even though dates attack my teeth. I haven't
Why you're
bought.
buying them?
It doesn't always happen. It's
Oh,
it's
okay.
it's once in a while. But it'll be like the
Yeah.
first one, so I know I can't eat any of the rest of the day. I don't know what it is. Like there's a mineral structure difference in my teeth that day. I don't know.
Yeah. I
But
mean, they're very sweet. They're very dense, so maybe it's sugar overload.
yeah, I don't know about that. I can just eat straight sugar. Um, I don't know what am I eating right now. I kind of have just been on the potato rice diet, really, because I had a huge issue with fruit flies at my other
Yeah.
place back in Cleveland. I could not get rid of them this year. They were driving me crazy. So I had to get all the fruit out of the house. The other thing I love about watermelon is they don't go after watermelon if it's open or if it's cut. If it's
If it's not
together,
cut.
if
Yeah.
it's not cut.
Yeah.
Um, they'll
Because the
sometimes
rind's so thick, so
it's
they're
so
not gonna
thick.
get in there.
Sometimes
Yeah.
they'll go after cantaloupe, but most of the time not. And honeydew they don't really go after either. So that's what I
Yeah.
was buying mostly. But once that season was over, I'm just like, what the hell do I eat? So I've been eating a little bit of squash, like kabocha squash and potatoes and rice, really.
No, I mean, do you feel like that's working for you right now? I'm just curious because I do like those are whole vegan foods, so those are like, good.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see how the recovery is. Since I've been in New York, I've been walking like 15,000 steps a day. Um, so we'll see how that works itself out. I am trying to find a place to get Thai bananas around here, which I have been
Hmm.
unsuccessful at so far. Um,
Well, even in the Asian markets, they don't have them in the Asian
I
markets. I
can't
would think
find
New
it.
York would be like a plethora for that.
Yeah, I'll find it eventually. But most
Yeah.
of the Asian markets around me are wholesalers and they only deal with you if you've got
Oh,
uh
really?
yeah, an account. Yeah. So I think there's some just north or actually east of me, but I'll have to find them.
You will.
Yeah.
You'll find someone that'll work with you.
Yeah.
A sale is a sale, right?
Yeah.
You would
Yeah,
think.
it'll all work itself. I mean, there's markets everywhere, so I'll find them somewhere. But yeah, I haven't been able to find any good bananas. The bananas in the place right by up the road, they're all in plastic bags. I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like,
Why?
I don't know. I don't
They
want to.
have an encasing already. Why
Yeah,
are we wrapping?
they literally come in a case in a plastic bag. I'm like, what the hell is that?
Oh my God. Yeah, normally you only find that when this makes me laugh in stores where they're like the ripe bananas. They're like, gotta protect them now. Like, gotta saran wrap them. Like,
Yeah,
God forbid. And I'm like, the ripe ones.
yeah, yeah,
Like, they're ready. And they're like, oh, ready to cook. And I'm like, no, ready to eat.
yeah,
Like,
exactly. Yeah,
this is not banana bread. This is human consumption
yeah.
food. This
But
makes
I
me
don't
laugh.
know. I don't know. I find that when I have raw and cooked on the same day, like I just don't digest it well. I feel like you got to be one or the other.
Have you ever done raw tofu?
That's what I mean. Yeah. Like when I do
Yeah.
raw to four, I don't digest it well at all. And I know I've had other people say this to me. But if I do all raw, then I'm fine. Or if I do all cooked, I'm fine.
Huh. I wonder, I mean, it's got to be something with the digestive enzymes that your body turns on, right?
Yeah.
If like maybe they have a hard time switching
Yeah, I
to
have no
one or the
idea.
other.
I know
I've
I'm
never
not the only
tried
one though.
that, so I don't
Yeah.
know, but I could only imagine. I mean, I feel like maybe that's, a good transitionary diet for people
Yeah.
if they're trying to be raw. And like, if you're just getting into it, your body, like that to your body is so much better than what you were doing before. So
Yeah. 100%.
you're not feeling the effects, but after you've been doing something like this for so long, your body's gonna be like, no, this is not, we don't like this.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I think his name is Ted Carr. He did an interview with Jillian Berry, and he was talking about the same thing. Like he started adding potatoes and sweet potatoes into his diet, and he just it wouldn't digest right. But once he like did all raw, he was fine. And I think he said if he did all like potatoes, he was fine. I just and I know I'm not the only one because I'll have people in the DM say, yeah, like it just doesn't work for them either.
oh wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
It was such a big, and I want to say a fad because it's not a fad, but the big movement for a while with oh gosh, Freely and Darian Ryder and
Yeah.
all of that. Like they were, that was a big proponent for what content they were putting out and whatnot. A lot of people I feel like were doing it for a while, but I haven't seen it as much lately. But that
No.
might just be because I'm following actual, raw foodists and not lots before
Yeah.
people. But
Yeah. And I think it had a stigma around it after the whole, blow up of that whole group, the 30 bananas and
yeah,
all that. So I think it had a stigma. So nobody's really talking about it anymore.
yeah. I don't know. Is it fine that I said that? Like that's the name.
Oh, I don't care.
I don't know. I don't know what YouTube like. I don't know. It's weird about it, but
No, I don't think they'll. I don't
okay.
really. I mean, I've interviewed Durian Ryder many times, so it's
Yeah.
really not a big deal. Freely won't. I don't think she'll do it, but yeah.
Is she even on YouTube anymore? I feel like she's on there just because.
In her weird way, like she's out in the middle of nowhere. No, like I don't,
Yeah.
yeah,
She's in her fruit forest.
yeah,
You know what though? Kudos to her for like just going for it and like living in the jungle
yeah.
and growing her fruit forest and all of that. So I mean, hey, there's a lot of people that would love to do that, that would love to be in that
hmm
situation. So that's
It's not
cool.
expensive. I mean, honestly, if you don't really need to have the Social Security or whatever it is for whatever country, if you want to just rough it, I mean, it's really not
Yeah.
that expensive, especially if you went to like Thailand or something like that. I imagine you can do it
hmm
really cheap. But
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I would love to get property and well, not even get property. I don't even know how that works, to be honest. But in Costa Rica one day, like I would just love to have
hmm
a place there and be able to have all the fruit forest and all that. Like my
Yeah,
dream is like to just be able to have all this fruit to give to people free of charge, which is how it should be, right? Like because
yeah,
it's out in nature, but like help cultivate that and be able to give people food so that they can get healthy. Because I feel like the other thing too is, healthy food is so expensive. And that's, a lot of the reason why people won't opt for that. I mean, other than the addictive chemicals they put into our food, so we
mm,
keep eating the bad food. But um, it's it's very expensive for a lot of people to actually be healthy,
it is. Yeah,
and that's part of the whole thing, like on purpose. But I would love to be able to help people turn that around without anybody having to worry about money. Because I feel like that's what holds a lot of people back.
yeah, yeah. I mean, when I was during the summer when I was doing a lot of like watermelon and stuff like that, I mean, I calculated it out. It would almost cost $1,600 for a family of four to eat the way I was eating a month.
For how much? What length of time?
A month. 1,600
A
for a
month,
month.
sixteen
Yeah.
hundred a month. Yeah, I mean that's a lot for a lot of people.
Yeah.
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 But that's, I mean, that's over $200 a week. So like a lot of people like that's kind of the budget
Yeah,
they
it
like
and
to
that's I think where McDougal comes more in handy. I mean, you can get a 50-pound bag of rice for like 40, $50, and
yeah.
potatoes are cheap. I mean, I was getting the reason I have all these potatoes is because I bought a bunch of Urbana, they're a Ohio potato, and they were 229 for 5 pounds.
Oh yeah, it's super cheap.
It's
Yeah,
super
rice and
cheap.
potatoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, when my dog, I actually healed my dog after I kind of came into the species specific diet too. I was like, oh, well, why am I not doing this for my dog?
Yeah.
Like they'll have it. But at first I was steaming sweet potatoes and I was giving her a lot of those. And she really like thrived on it. And it was great because it was so cheap compared to
Yeah.
getting kibble and whatnot. Now I don't do that anymore. She just raw, but um yeah, it's like very cost effective. Just say like you can't be any sort of level of healthy because it's too expensive. It's kind of a cop out.
It is. Yeah.
But if you want the fruit and the vegetables and the potatoes and the rice and all of that, then yeah, it's gonna cost more.
Yeah, it gets expensive. I mean, that's just, again, Starch Solution comes in handy with that. And Peter Rogers, I think I referenced him earlier in the video. He put out a video where he stopped eating fruit altogether and he lost 14 pounds in like a month after
Oh,
he's
so what, he was dry fasting or water fasting?
no, he was
Oh,
he
fruit,
was
fruit, fruit.
OMAD, and then but he was mixing like fruit in with the starches, and he dropped all the fruit, and he said he lost like 14 pounds doing that.
Yeah, I wonder if that's because your body has only had to focus on one type of food.
Yeah,
It's not
it
like
could be.
switching the digestive
Yeah,
enzyme to try and figure out how to do both. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can definitely lose weight on that. I feel like any sort of whole foods vegan diet will do that for you, no
I
matter
think
how
so.
you do it,
Yeah.
you know. What's your view on a lot of people, I know you're supposed to be interviewing me, but I'm curious. What's your
I don't
view
like
on,
interviews. I like conversations.
oh, well, you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. But what's your view on like all of the like macro micronutrients? Like you need all like we need like such a huge variety
I don't
to,
believe in that shit at all. Like, if you look at potatoes, they have everything in almost like everything almost that you need.
Mhm.
If you look at, I don't know, just different fruits. Now, I will say this. Um, 2017, I had moved back to Cleveland, and I had for a city, I had a fairly big backyard, and I asked the uh, landlord. I said, "Can I dig up some of this backyard?" He didn't know I was going to dig the whole thing up, so I dug the whole the whole backyard up. And my dad has been I guess I don't know what you would call it, but he's had compost for the last like 25 or 30 years, but he doesn't really use it. I'm like, what? Why are you doing this if you're not going to use it? So I said, do you mind if I use this? And he's like, no. So we put a bunch in my car and I drove it out, and we put a bunch more in my car and we drove it out. And I, I, the stuff that was growing in this soil that he's been basically harvesting for the last like 2 decades was insane. I couldn't even there was four of us who couldn't even eat it fast enough. So we were like we were selling some to the farmers
Yeah.
markets locally and stuff like that. And he happens to have, or somebody happened to have a Briggs test, where you put some of the juice on there, you can see how much sugar is in that. It hit a Briggs, the cherry tomatoes hit a Briggs of 25, which is like crazy.
Hmm.
And they tasted like sugar salt bombs when you ate them. Like
Oh wow.
I couldn't even eat for like 2 years after this, like regular potatoes from or tomatoes from the store. I just couldn't even eat them because it just tasted like I
Bland.
don't like bath water. Uh,
Hmm.
y- you know, and I had grown watermelon in this. I had grown tomatoes in this. I had grown cherry tomatoes in this. I had grown squash in this, cantaloupe. I forget what it was, a bunch of stuff. And I actually it ruined me buying this stuff in the store after that because it
Yeah.
tasted so much better. So if you have it like that, the micronutrient thing takes care of itself. If you don't have
Right.
it from that, I think you have to eat enough to actually have the micronutrients. I mean, I know the Strong Sisters that had that Kathleen Stewart on, who I still can't get a hold of. And she said that if you eat enough, your micronutrients are taken care of, according to what she's found. If you don't eat enough, your micronutrients aren't taken care of. I did start adding them in like capsule form like a month ago. I
Hmm.
can't really say that I noticed a huge difference in any way, shape, or form, but yeah. So I think they're necessary, but I'm not gonna go buy 72 different items to eat a week. It's just not gonna happen. I've
No.
tried that and I'm like, I might as well just throw this stuff out on the way out of the grocery store because I'm never gonna use it.
Yeah.
I don't want to do
Yeah,
it.
no, I know what you mean. Like I kind of got into that at first because I was like, oh, I need all the things and like you'll be able to eat all this variety. And I think it helps people when they first get into the lifestyle because it helps them, I don't know, mentally think that they're eating like to have like an abundance of variety because that's what we're used to, before like you can just eat anything basically. Um, but yeah, as it kind of like time went on, I was like, yeah, no,
No, I can't
I'm
do it.
fine. I went 2 full months on just watermelon, and I felt the best in
Yeah,
those two
everybody says
months
that.
than I
Everybody says
did
that.
than I ever do. And that's why like summer is my favorite, not just because the weather is optimal in Cleveland, but
Yeah.
like it's watermelon season. And I mean, there's something to be said about that. Like that one food will give you everything that you need
Yeah,
as
exactly.
long as it's, giving you the sugar because that's what, you know, we run on essentially, which, there's a huge year of sugar
Oh, it's
in general
ridiculous.
right now.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Yeah. It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, that the more sugar has gone down, like in consumption, the higher obesity has gone.
Hmm.
You know, there's a direct correlation between protein intake and obesity and lack of sugar. I just did that in a protein video I made the other day. I mean, there's a chart showing like obesity and protein are climbing at the exact same rate. Meanwhile, sugar is like at an all-time low.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because all the, fad diets right now are low carb and high protein and you want to be healthy, like high protein, up your protein. And I'm like, oh my God. Like every time I see that, I'm like, oh God, I'm like, please no. I'm
No,
like, get off the train. Sugar is not bad. Like I can see like if you're adding sugar and fat together, then yes, that's a problem. But if
that
you're
is.
just eating sugar, fine. But unfortunately, most of the foods in society have fat and sugar combined. So,
The only thing that I could think that is in combination in the natural world is durian fruit. It's like
hmm.
33% fat and like the rest, mostly carbs. But for the most part, you don't really see sugar and sugar and fat mixed all that much in nature.
No, no. But that's kind of an exception though, because it's a fruit grown in nature. So it was created perfectly. So it was intended that way.
Yeah.
Like donuts are not created in nature. So it's
No.
like, it's like all these oils and stuff. And, we're not lamps. We don't need oil.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's another thing that I can't stand when raw vegans say that is like, oh, this fruit tastes like donuts or like cheesecake. I'm like, no, it doesn't. Like, stop lying to yourself. It does not taste anything like that. I
Tastes
forget which one.
better.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, what did cherimoyas? Somebody told me that they taste like vanilla ice cream. They don't at all, but they're
I've
like one
never
of the
had
best
one
fruits.
actually.
What's that?
I've never had one actually.
Oh, I gotta go. I can't handle a fruitarian that hasn't had a cherimoya. No,
I'm in
that
Cleveland. Okay, cut me some slack.
that Asian market that I told you about in Cleveland, you
Yeah,
can get them there.
yeah. I need to make a trip up there.
Yeah,
Let's do that.
yeah, you can get them there, but they're expensive. Again, they're like they're usually like 9.99 a pound, and they're usually one is over a pound.
Yeah. You know what though? I spend most of my money on my food.
Okay.
I'm not one of those people because I prioritize my discretionary income on my food because my health is like my priority.
Yeah.
And like I am not, I don't need a bunch of other stuff. So that's not necessarily, you know, a hindering factor for me. I know for a lot of people that like 9.99 a pound is like that's crazy. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
It should not be that expensive. But
No, it shouldn't because they're one of these fruits that grow like crazy on trees. It's not like little sparse. Like if you ever see them on the trees, they're everywhere. They might not ship well. I don't know because they're a little soft for a little softer, but they're one of the best fruits I've ever had.
no, I'm definitely gonna have to check that out
Yeah.
ASAP then. There's
Yeah.
so many.
Yeah.
That's so
There's
many that I want to try. Like I have not had, and don't take away my raw vegan card for this, but I've not had durian either yet,
Oh,
and I
really?
need to try.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
because I get like people are like, oh well, if you get them frozen, they're not good, and like if you get one bad, then it's a toss up if it's a bad one or a good one. I'm like, oh, if I'm gonna like go and invest in that, I want it to be good. So
Yeah.
I was kind of waiting for an opportunity where maybe I am like in a more like southern tropical place like South Florida or whatever, and I can get it there more fresh
Yeah.
versus
Yeah, I could
frozen.
see that. I could see that. I mean, I've gotten them frozen. I think they taste really good. I've had them fresh too, and they taste.
Do you find like a difference? Or I
I've
would
had
imagine
some
the
really
fresh
bad
ones are
frozen
better.
ones, that weren't that great.
Yeah.
Uh, Now, the ones that I've gotten frozen that are in they're just a whole frozen fruit have always
Mhm.
been good. But you can also get where they take the individual fruit out and they put them in containers and then they freeze them. That's where I've had issue, but I've never had
Okay.
issue with the ones that I bought whole and then thawed it out.
Okay, that's good to know. Because
Yeah.
I've seen the ones frozen that are like your thing, like they're in packaging and whatnot. I'm like, I don't know, because then they absorb packaging
Yeah,
and
yeah,
goes
that's the
in
ones I've
there and
always had
stuff.
issue
Yeah.
with. And I think they have to put uh like a disinfectant on it or something like that. But they don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it doesn't always taste that great. But if you get it in a whole fruit and thaw it out yourself,
Yeah.
I've always had good luck with that.
Yeah. I'm gonna try that then. I've wanted to try it for so long. I'm like so curious because it's such a polarizing
It is,
taste.
yeah.
Half the people are like, oh my God, this is amazing. And the other people are like, oh my God, this tastes like onions and garlic and it's gross. So
The first bite
I
usually
don't know.
does, and then you kind of really realize it's not that. I think it's because I think there is sulfur in it, and so your
Yeah.
mind is kind of thinking this is an onion. But once you get like a couple bites in, you realize how good they are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'm excited to try that at some point. But I
yeah.
feel like I derailed you off the comment. What were you talking about?
I don't know. It's gone.
Whoop. Cherimoya. You were talking about a cherimoya and then I don't know. But
It's not relevant anymore. It's gone.
I know. I do that all the time though. I'm like, I'll like start on a topic and start telling a story, and then I have five different tangents, and I don't remember where I started. So
Yeah, it happens.
yeah,
I was gonna ask you if there was like, I don't know, a zombie apocalypse and
random.
I don't know why. And raw fruit just wasn't available, but there was like a plethora of different starches, but there was no sweet
Okay.
potatoes. That's off the table. Sweet potatoes
Ah,
are off the
that's
table.
right.
What would you eat? Now, sweet potatoes don't exist in this scenario. Not allowed.
But there's only starches.
Only okay. Any food that you want, sweet potatoes don't exist. Nothing with sweet potato in it exists. Sweet potatoes were never on this planet.
And no fruit.
No fruit. What would it be?
Did you have to reconnect your battery
No,
pack
I
or
had to
something?
put another battery in the battery. I don't know why it's not charging because it's connected to the thing.
All right. Well, you gave me a couple minutes to think about this. Feel like it would have to be a potato, like just a regular potato, because I rice. Well, you would have to cook the potato too, but. do we get to cook the
Yeah,
starch
you
or
got to cook
no?
it. And
Okay, okay,
cooking's
all right.
mandatory.
Yeah, I'd probably go for a potato
Okay.
if I had to. I'd
You've
probably try and
redeemed
like
yourself a
fast.
little.
I'd probably try to fast for a little while, and then like once I was like, no, I need to eat something, potatoes.
So like a 40-day fast and then you eat potatoes. That
I
might not
could
go
do a
well.
40-day fast. I don't have that much extra weight on me to do a 40-day fast
Oh,
and
now
then
you're
run
fat
away from
shaming
the
people.
zombies too.
Yeah.
I gotta have some energy, right? That's not
Yeah.
gonna give me any energy. So yeah, that's funny. Well, what about you? What would you pick?
Potatoes.
Potato.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was never a rice person. Even when I was younger and I ate all the things, I was gravitated toward noodles.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what my family had. So,
Oh, yeah. You're
around me and
Italian.
whatnot.
Yeah.
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 So
I'm
we had
Irish.
rice, but every time we had rice for dinner, I was like really bummed out. I was
Well,
like,
you
I
guys
want
probably don't
I
know how to
want
cook it
noodles.
right. Although there's like risotto, right?
Yeah, I don't know though. I've had risotto. I think it was just the texture. Like it was small and whatever. Like I wanted I don't know. I wanted the noodles, like the long, I don't know. It was like a psychological thing. But yeah.
Yeah. I my cousin married an Italian girl, and it was funny. Whenever I would go over to their house, we always would make fun of it because the Irish people would be eating like the potato salad, and
Yeah.
the Italians would be eating the pasta salad. They wouldn't cross paths at all.
Oh
So
no. No, you know what's weird? We never really had pasta salad or potato salad in my family. We always just had like pasta.
really,
And yeah, pasta, pizza. My grandma made everything from scratch. So she had we had all the things going on. Homemade bread, all of that stuff. So I would always be gravitating to that. But yeah, we never had pasta salad. It was weird. I think the
so it's
first time I
interesting that
saw
you
it, I was over at my
answered.
friend's house.
It's interesting that you answered potatoes then, because you could have had pasta in the apocalypse scenario.
Yeah, but you know what? Pasta is pasta because the flour.
That's true. But you process a potato after you eat it.
Yeah, but it's a whole food, right? It's
Not, I
out of
mean,
the earth.
but it's
Like
how
you can take the potato out of the earth and then cook it. The pasta, you're not finding that anywhere. Like you're
maybe.
not digging up like pasta noodles. I mean, if that's the thing, then I need to know about it. But I don't think that it is.
So
Yeah,
in an apocalypse, you're still worried about something being processed.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Because if I survive, which I probably won't survive a zombie apocalypse, let's be honest. I don't have like fighting skill, but and I'm not a runner, a very fast runner, so I'm not gonna last very long. But yeah, I don't want to be weighed down. That's like die hard to my values until the very end. Okay.
So
Well, thanks for having me on.
yeah, no problem. I will link your what is it? Instagram, I guess, is the only.
I have Instagram and I have Facebook, so
Okay.
I can send you both.
Yeah, I'll link that down in the description section. So look for that. And thanks for being on.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It was great.
Yeah. All right.
Uh,
Like always, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and see you in the next one.